everybody. JC Cormack here, your rebel storytelling coach and host of Cartwheels and Banana Peels. Oh my gosh. I say it every episode, I know, but I'm so excited to be here with these amazing ladies. Oh my gosh, brand new ladies to me too, which is even more exciting. So, and we were just having the conversation before I started recording. I said, hey y'all, I don't edit, so don't worry about it. If something goes awry, whatever, I just don't edit. It's not my style. The show must go on. So that's how I rock and roll. Now, so I'm gonna let y'all know that if you hadn't figured that out already. So let's dive in because we have cool stories to share. We always have so much fun on the show. I'm so glad you're here, but I like to jump right in and just get going. So I am going to pass the baton, okay, to Miss Lisa and ask her to tell us who she is and what the heck it is she does. So Lisa.
Hey ladies, hey beautiful people. I'm Lista. I live in New Zealand and I am a soul coach. So basically what I do is help women to heal unresolved childhood wounds and ancestral pains and struggles so they can tap into their divine, knowing their intuition and really have that voice to speak up and clear for the future generations what they have been struggling with in their life and in their past timelines with their families so that they can be empowered and totally love themselves fully.
Wow, that's beautiful. Very beautiful. All right, we're moving on. Nila? It is Nila, right? I didn't ask before the show. What's wrong with me?
That's fine. My full name is Nirmala Raju. Nobody gets it right. So I go with Nila or Nimi.
Nila. Okay, Nila. I apologize.
Yeah, hi. Right. So as you can see, I'm originally from India. I lived in UK for 20 years now, in US for 5 years. I am an IT entrepreneur and spiritual coach on the extreme ends of the spectrum, right? Okay. I help people to embrace their divinity in personal level, and I help businesses to embrace technology to grow.
Oh, wonderful. Love it. We're just on a soul mission today. All right, Miss Shelley, I just have to tell you guys, we had someone that had to change her schedule and Shelley jumped in at the last minute. So I'm so super excited that she just says, I'm in. I'm like, come on board. So Shelley, will you tell us about you, my dear?
Absolutely. I'm Shelley Fritz, and I've been an ADHD coach for about 7 years. I help adults with ADHD to navigate their own personal ADHD paths. I was a special education teacher for 21 years, so I really believe in working with people one-on-one and planning out exactly what you need, not what some cookie cutter program has for you. I help my clients create roadmaps so that we can get where we want to go and organize our time. We have a backpack filled with fun strategies. I'm a cheerleader while you reach your goals. And again, I work with adults, men, women. I also work a lot with the LGBT community. So I've got about a third of my clients are actually trans clients. So I really am working on being as inclusive and just accepting and positive of all my clients as I can.
I freaking love it. And of course, there's me, that is the rebel storytelling coach, helping Gen X, ADHD, hello, Shelley, women entrepreneurs, just take all those stories that race around in our head and use them to their advantage so that you can actually attract your dream clients. Yes. So we can all tell stories. I've been on the computer working all day, y'all. I'm wound up. So let's go. I want to get started on these stories. I want to hear your stories today because I'm so ready for a little fun break. And if you're out there, guys, listening, this is probably what you need right in this moment because you probably are going to get some giggles. So Miss Lisa, I'm bringing it back to you. Will you share your story with us today?
Oh, thank you so much. And this is a really interesting story. I studied in theta healing a long time ago. And when I first started out, theta healing is a way we connect to Creator. We go in and we clear the programs, the beliefs, the feelings, or the not feelings. We download new feelings. And the way that we do that is we get in and we dig deep to find the bottom beliefs so they can be cleared. This one time I was working with this beautiful woman, and every time I went up and asked the Creator to show me what was happening, I kept seeing like a digger, like literally a machine, a digger that would dig in the mud. And I'd say to her, tell me this is what I'm seeing. What does this mean to you? She's going, a digger. No, no idea. I said, okay. So I went back and said to Creator, can you show me again? What does I need to see to help this woman clear this belief? And then I saw this bigger digger. And I said, I keep seeing this digger and it's getting bigger. If you just take a moment, check in and see what that means to you. And she kept saying, no idea, no idea. And I went, okay, I'll go and have another look. And I saw this massive digger, massive. Creator's still showing me this massive digger. And we're both going, no, she didn't know what it meant, and I wasn't picking up what it meant. And then I was sitting there, I said, well, just park that to the side. And then we kept going through the session, and then Creator dropped in, keep digging for the bottom belief. Sometimes life is so simple that we can make it really complicated. So what I learned was that when I receive something from the Creator, just go with it for what it is. Just trust it. Don't try and look for some hidden kind of message. Sometimes it's really simple and in our face.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. That's wonderful. And did you guys achieve that? Did you find what you were looking for?
We finally got there. We were able to clear that bottom belief, and she walked away feeling so much more in her body, so much more present. So yeah, it was good. Thank you.
Lovely. That's wonderful. All right, you guys, we're moving on. Are you ready? Nila?
Hey, okay. This is a really funny and scary story. Okay. 2012, picture this. We are going on a sabbatical, myself and my husband, right? He is an adventurer basically. So we want to land in Australia, Great Barrier Reef. That's our dream. And he finds a very cool deal, 7-day motorboat rental to be in the ocean. And we had never even sailed a paper boat in a bathtub, right? And he signs up for it. We land there, and they say our 2-bedroom motorboat was under repair, so they were going to give us 4-bedroom catamaran. We look at it, it seems like a cruise boat, big cruise ship actually.
Yeah.
And we get a crash course for taking it in the ocean. It was half-a-day crash course to steer that big, big
Oh my
ship.
goodness.
Yeah. And I don't even drive a car. Imagine how it would have been. It was a panic all over for me. But my husband was brimming with confidence. And after the crash course, we just sailed in, and we had to anchor in a bay. Every night we are supposed to anchor in a bay before the darkness sets in. Okay, so anchoring is an art. It's really an art. So we do it on the first day, and we are very happy, and we are celebrating, enjoying our drink, until we hear panic shouts from all over. It seemed like our boat had a mind of its own. It was drifting all over the bay. We didn't notice.
Oh my goodness.
We didn't notice. It was scary. Then we had to scramble back to the wheels and levers and do something, get it back under control, anchor it again. And that night, our boat again starts to dance, and we hear very loud thunder-like sounds. And we were told that it was something called water bullet on that night. We didn't know anything what was happening, whether we were in a battle or in a theme park. We were pretty sure that we were going to hit the coral reef. And if we had hit, it's about $100,000 fine. Imagine.
Oh no.
It was a sleepless night. We didn't know what was happening. It was pitch dark, right?
Oh my gosh.
Right? And the next day we wake up, fine. Our anchoring was effective. We didn't get anything. But there was a present water leak. All the water was gone. So we had to take the boat back to the harbor and parallel park. Imagine, with a crash course, we had to parallel park. And even
Oh my-
a single scratch would have wiped off our bank balance.
Oh my gosh, girl. Oh
I
my
was praying so hard. I could hear the angels singing actually. But my husband was a wizard that day. I think he channeled something somewhere and we were able to park finally. Right? By that time we came off the harbor, we were confident and we wanted to island hop. We had to be on the ocean, in the ocean for 7 days, right? We were ready to island hopping. And the next day, we went to a beautiful island and we were relaxing in the sun and everybody was rushing off. We were thinking, okay, they're all rushing off. We are going to stay overnight here. But probably they read the signs on our head stating novice. And somebody before leaving said, hey, there is a storm coming. You better leave. There was a problem. Our buggy was in the shallows. Tide, tide was, there was a low tide. So we were on the shore and our buggy was stranded now.
Oh my goodness.
We didn't know what to do because we were one of the last ones in the
Oh,
beach.
wow.
And then we were about to build the SOS sign, but somebody came to our rescue and now he pushed the buggy with us into the water. And the next scariest thing was, now we have to get the buggy onto the boat, right? That was our first time. And my husband was maneuvering. He disappeared between the hull. I couldn't see him at all.
Oh my gosh.
I was screaming. I am sure God heard me. And he pops back up
Oh my goodness.
like a starfish.
It's a starfish.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
I am telling you, when we left the boat back with the company, I could hear the choir, the divine choir singing hallelujah.
Oh my goodness. What an
I'm-
adventure. What
Yeah,
an
it
adventure.
was. It was. And I'm telling you, this, when we narrate the stories to our sailing friends, the experts,
Yes.
they laugh and they say they hadn't heard any kind of, any more stupid adventures than ours. That was really stupid to take such a big catamaran with 4-hour crash course.
Oh,
So,
that's crazy. Yeah,
yeah.
that's wild.
But one thing we learned, okay, if we could survive that, we could tackle anything in life.
Yes.
Anything.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Life
It
just
was,
makes you
it
float
was
around
scary.
and dance on the water. Oh my goodness. I love it.
Yeah.
And I love your energy. I just have to say that.
Well, thank you.
I love it. So when we tell our stories, you can see that in us. This is one of the biggest, is that a word? Anyways, biggest reasons that we should always be sharing our stories, you guys. It helps us connect with our people. All right, off my soapbox for a minute. Shelley, it's your turn, my dear.
Okay, well, I had short notice and I think that my life is hilarious. But all of a sudden, I had this moment of, oh my gosh, I can't think of like an actual funny story. So we're getting one from the past. This is a funny story. It's also kind of maybe the meanest I ever was. So I feel a little bit bad, but it's okay. Maybe the sweet girl who I was mean to is listening and I can apologize. So I love going to conferences. I love going and learning new things. And that started in college when I was getting my degree in special education. And I live in Illinois. And so we've got Chicago here, and my school is about 3 hours south of Chicago. So it's about that far. And I was going to this conference and it was probably 1991 or no, 1988, somewhere in there. It was a long time ago. And I was driving this little old baby blue Datsun, just junker of a car. And a bunch of people were trying to carpool. So I had 3 girls with me who I had never met before. And 2 of them were super nice and super fun. And we were having a great time. And one of them wasn't. Debbie was not very much fun. And she was missing her boyfriend even on the way up. And she was just kind of a little bit whiny. And unfortunately, my Datsun had one seat that the lever was broken and it would just always go back. And she was in it. It was the front. So she kept kind of flying backwards. So even on the way up, things were kind of crazy. So we had the conference. It was great, learned a ton, I'm sure. And then we get in the car to come back home. Well, it was raining, which is my excuse. That's what I'm blaming all of what follows on. It was raining. And we got off on we had these little overpass things outside of Chicago where you can take a little ramp and there's a fast food place up top. And that's what we were doing. We were getting food for the drive home and we got our fast food and we went back off the ramp. Remember, it's raining. And we started driving. Well, Debbie was missing her boyfriend and their favorite song was Cyndi Lauper's Time After Time. And I had a cassette player in the front. Debbie had to be in the front because she got car sick if she didn't. So she was in the front and she kept rewinding. So we're listening to Time After Time. We're driving in the rain and we're driving and driving and driving.
Wait, I have to highlight Time After Time. You're listening to Time After Time.
And to God. And so we're driving along and a lot of times passed and I'm not very good at directions and I'm not very ADHD, no sense of time at all. So we're driving and driving. And all of a sudden I said, I'm surprised we haven't seen signs yet for Bloomington. Like I knew we wouldn't be there yet, but I figured we'd see signs. Like, well, that's kind of weird. And so we're driving and driving and I'm thinking, wow, we must be going really slow because of the rain. That must explain it because now it's been almost 3 hours and I haven't even seen a sign for anything I recognize. So I'm, again, totally blaming the rain. That must be the problem. And then we kept driving and driving and thinking, something's wrong. Well, the girls in the back are laughing hysterically with me. We think this is a riot because we have clearly done something wrong. Debbie, not amused. And, her seat keeps falling backwards and she keeps playing Cyndi Lauper over and over again. I think by this time she was already crying and we've got a long way to go. So we keep going. And at this point, like we knew we'd done something wrong. And I think it was just my stubbornness that made me just keep going. And then we hit a point where I noticed that the trees that had been, nice deciduous oak trees and things, suddenly it was seeming like they were mostly coniferous pine trees. Like the trees were changing. And still we didn't stop and we kept going and kept going. And we hit a point, I'm not making this up. At this point, I don't blame Debbie for crying. I wish I could apologize, Debbie, because at this point, we had driven almost 7 hours.
Oh my gosh.
But we just kind of kept egging each other on, we just got, like at this point, it just became like a game and we didn't see any signs. And then finally we saw a big sign that said, "Go Michigan, go."
Yeah, I was going to say you're in Michigan.
If you're not from around here, you might not know that Michigan is north of where I am. But it didn't say like Michigan. It said "Go Michigan." We're still telling ourselves it could have been like a sports thing or something like that. So we finally pull off at a gas station and I asked my favorite question I've ever asked in my life. We get out and said, "Excuse me, sir, could you please tell me what state we're in?" All-time favorite question. And he said Michigan. So we're cracking up. I mean, not Debbie, but the rest of us.
Yes.
Well, then I had to find a payphone because I'm that old. There weren't cell phones. And my parents are super protective, right? And they wanted me to call when we got home. So I had to call my mom and say, I'm going to be a little bit late. We're in Michigan. And she whispers to my dad and she comes back and she says, "Michigan? To get to Michigan, you had to go through Indiana." And I looked at the girls and said, "You guys, we went through Indiana." Okay, so hoot, right? Here's where the really mean part gets. On the way up, we kept passing Denny's, like this like breakfasty kind of place that tends to be at every off ramp, right? And we kept joking about wondering how many Denny's there were. Now it's nighttime. We're going to be like 12 hours late. And I said, wouldn't it be funny if on the way back, we stopped at every Denny's we passed?
Oh my gosh.
Well, you might imagine that the girls in the back thought that was a great idea.
Yeah.
Poor Debbie lost her ever-loving mind. And we stopped at every single Denny's. The first one we had a meal, the next one we had dessert, the next one we just had coffee. I think the next couple we just pulled into the parking lots just to kind of be obnoxious. We got home in the middle of the night, having done this kind of world tour of young, dumb, ADHD, just messy people. 3 of us having the time of our lives, and 1 of us not so much at all. Sorry, Debbie, wherever you are.
She's probably torturing people in the world today because you guys.
I really bet she is. So whenever people say to me, oh, you've got to hear the story about this time I got lost, I always say, no, I promise.
Oh my gosh.
Promise.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. That's like, to me though, what was playing in my head when Nila was talking earlier, I went to Gilligan's Island in my brain. And so now you're talking about this, and I'm like hearing, instead of a 3-hour tour, I'm hearing it's a 7-hour tour.
I was done, yeah. 16 or something like that by the time that we made it back. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. And now we got to just keep digging because I don't know. We got to find something to get off this island. Oh, y'all, I have so many stories rolling around in my head. You talk about ADHD. I didn't have one picked out that I was going to share today because I like to challenge myself to come up with one on the spot. I have so many that I don't even know, but I'll tell you what stood out for me when Shelley was saying that it was kind of one of her mean moments. Because I know for me, I was the bullied one almost always. I was the cheerleader, yada, yada, but I was the bullied one. And so usually I was the really nice one that kind of took care of everybody else. However, when I was in driver's ed, back when they had driver's ed in high school, in the 80s. So yeah, I'm old too. We had one girl that, poor thing. And at that time I was actually really good friends with her, but she could not drive. I was a farm girl, right? I had grown up driving tractors and stuff. It was fine. I wasn't that big a deal, but we take off. We were on Highway 40. Mind you, I grew up in Indiana, so not too far from Indianapolis, so not all that far from you. But we took off from the intersection by our high school, which is on US 40, out in a cornfield. And she's driving, and there's a semi next to us, and she just starts going toward, because he's passing us. And I just look over, and the guy that was in the back seat, we're both looking over, and we're like, that's how this semi-tire is getting pretty darn close to my door. And we look at each other, and we're like, we're gonna die. I mean, we were cracking jokes, but it was scary. But we're like, we're gonna die. It's gonna be bad. And my driver's ed instructor happened to be one of my best friends to this day, her father. And he's looking back at us like, would you shut up? I'm just like, zip it. It's not cool. And so he had to reach over though and pull the steering wheel because it would have been bad. But we couldn't keep our mouths shut. Poor thing. We probably traumatized her forever. I feel bad too, actually.
I really wasn't usually the bully.
I wasn't either. I was totally bullied one. All right. Story for you. And that is something else I want to point out, you guys, when we can share these stories that don't have anything to do with what we do in the world, sometimes we can relate them back, or it just lets people see our personalities. And other times, like Lisa did for us today, she shares a story that has to do with business, and it still has this entertainment value. So keep that in mind. That's why we are here. If you're like, I don't know how to do that, JC, well, you need to work with me. Anywho, so let's go back around though, because I want to glitch in the system, JC. I want everybody to know how to find you guys. And if you have something that you want to share with these amazing people that are watching, I want you to be able to do that. So Lisa, I'm so glad that you got popped back in, crazy internet or whatnot. So share with us how to find you, okay? And if you have an offer of any kind, paid or free, we don't care.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And don't you just love technology? Woohoo! Okay, so you can find me on Facebook and Instagram under Lista Healer Teacher. And my offer that I have to share is it's called Elemental Coaching, and it's designed to help you to tap into your own inner knowing. And it's a membership. So each day, Monday to Friday, you get a message, you get an affirmation and an action step to help you really tap into the wisdom that lives within you. So I'm working with the angels. So there's a lot of messages that come through, and I'm helping people to really dive back into their innocence. And so this is $47 a month. So for someone in the States, so that would be probably just under half price, about $27 a month. That's Monday to Friday. It also has coaching from me. So I go in and I coach people every single day, Monday to Friday, after they check in their affirmation, the messages, really helping them to design, to know who they are, really tapping into their intuition, their innocence, which is their inner knowing, so that they can really know who they are as a spiritual being.
Oh, I love that. I'm all about the inner knowing and being connected with our guides, angels, whatnot. I love that. Absolutely. Okay, Nila, I'm passing the buck to you.
All right, thank you. You can find me on my website, infinitehealing.co.uk. I have 4 free courses there, including kindness medicine and stress releasing exercises. You will absolutely love them. You will also learn some new high vibrational tools to release any heaviness that you face in your life.
Wonderful.
Yes, thank you.
And you guys, and the links, and we're going to get to Shelley in a second, but the links are going to be in any of our show notes. Okay. So don't have to worry about that. You can find them wherever you're watching or listening to this podcast. So Shelley.
Yeah. Well, you can find me at my website. It's youradhdpath.com. And in terms of offers, my offer is always what it is. I do a free consultation call to see if you might be interested in working with me one-on-one, which is right now how I'm offering my services. My goal with the consultation call is always that you're going to walk away with enough strategies that your life is completely changed, whether you ever see me again or not, is what I try to do. Not always the best business strategy, maybe, but it's the way that I kind of approach the work that I do. So hop on my website, book a call, and get some strategies for yourself and see if it would help to work together.
I love that. That's amazing. You guys are rock stars. All right. So before we wrap up here, hey guys, this is June 2024, and I'm getting ready to roll out a new storytelling program. It is freaking cool because it involves story circles where we get to come together as sisters and practice stories and tell your stories and get positive feedback and good, even if it's not positive feedback, but you get feedback in a safe space so you feel supported and we can find all those stories that help you. There's so much more that goes on with it other than just that, but that is a piece of it because it has this same similar feel to where we get to sit around and communicate and just build that bond and relationship with our sisters and share our stories, because so often we feel like we're not heard, and you deserve to be heard. There's ours to that. So cartwheelsandbananapeels.com. Obviously, you can find everything about the podcast there. You can request to be a guest. And yes, that's where you just go, oh, work with JC. And then you can find out more about this because it's the pilot program that I'm bringing out right now. So pretty freaking cool. We're being attacked by a fly, y'all. All right, everybody. I am so excited and so grateful that you guys were here and shared with me today and shared with all the listeners. We're going to pop out of here for today. But you guys have an amazing and fantastic day.